When Ricardo Pereda returned from Iraq, he thought his most difficult days were behind him.
This was a bad day.
But nothing had prepared him for the battle he would face back home.
It was difficult. It's very difficult when I came back. Extremely difficult. You know, here I am, I'm a 22-year-old kid, man at this point, kid. And I felt used up. You know, I felt like, what now?
Pereda, who had served in the United States Army Military Police, was now living with a traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. Nightmares kept him awake through the night. His days were wrought with anxiety, anger, and grief.
So here I am, 23 years old, retired from the Army, going through a divorce, lost my career, you know, losing my sanity. Slowly but surely, it's going. Losing my self-respect, feeling like I'm a drain on everybody else.
It was then that Pereda wrote a letter of apology to his loved ones, held a gun to his head, and came close to pulling the trigger. He would have ended his life, he says, if it weren't for the thought of his family's pain.
What kind of impact is that going to have on my family, on my friends, you know, beyond what's already happened? And I couldn't do it. You know, thank God.
Pereda survived that day, but many veterans don't. The number of service members and veterans attempting and completing suicide has been rising for the past 10 years. According to the Department of Veterans Affairs, 18 veterans die by suicide every day, far more than are killed in combat. For Dr. Michael Marks, lead psychologist of the Southern Arizona VA healthcare system, it's a problem with many causes and no simple solution.
Part of the issue that's going on is military culture doesn't encourage people to reach out for psychological help. Emotional problems are seen as a weakness. Reaching out can be seen as a weakness. So that ethos even follows them out of the military.
When that ethos combines with post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injuries, drug and alcohol abuse, financial or relationship troubles, or the difficulties of multiple deployments or transitioning back into civilian life, studies show that suicide risk rises. Marks says the military is trying to change its culture in hopes that fewer lives will be lost. But he says that may not be enough. The community has to change too.
Of the people who've been suicidal that I've worked with, and I will ask them, I said, you know, okay, you're suicidal. Do you want to be dead or do you want the pain to end? And I would tell you that 95% of the people just want the pain to end. So one of the things we can do as a community is identify what are those painful things and what can we do to make them go away.
They did a great thing. And that's
Educating the community so it can ask and answer those questions is Nicola Winkle's mission.
It's not all about deployment. It's about the things that people are experiencing that are part of their life.
Winkle, a community liaison with the Arizona Coalition for Military Families, helped develop a program that teaches Arizonans military mental health first aid.
Mental health first aid is being used across the country to equip our communities to respond to individuals experiencing mental health crises. And what we're doing now is adapting it for use with the military and veteran populations.
The curriculum teaches the do's and don'ts of helping service members, veterans, and their families. What questions to ask, what warning signs to look for, how to talk about painful experiences. The program's pilot trainings have drawn significant interest so far.
The more people that we have that are knowledgeable, who have the confidence to intervene, and they know how to connect that person to the resources that are available, the better off we're going to be intervening in the lives of people who are feeling suicidal.
For veteran Ricardo Pereda, that willingness to intervene meant the difference between life and death.
It wasn't for the people who loved me, who were telling me, you know, you need to seek help. You need to get out there and go to these you know, therapy programs and stuff like that. You need to talk to somebody. I wouldn't be here.
Now Pereda helps others through their dark days. As president of the University of Arizona chapter of the Student Veterans of America, he advocates for his fellow veterans. And as hard as it still is for him, he shares his story so others will know they're not alone and that it can, and does, get better.
I want to change it for the world, you know. The experiences that have helped, you know, mold my character, you know, who I am, what I cherish in my life, who I want to be. The different turns and twists and forks and dead ends and whatnot that I've gone through in my life have led me here. And yeah, I dig it. Yeah.